I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey Brahmins, it's Wellness Wednesday, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet to make sure that you're able to watch your wellness videos for this month of December. Thank you to all of you who participated in the blood drive yesterday. All of the workers there were complimentary of Okeechobee High School. First of all, we were able to outdo two combined of the schools on the coast with how many students participated here. We had 84 valued donors. That means that they were allowed to be able to use the blood donation that those donors gave. But the more impressive thing was all of the comments from every worker for One Blood who were talking about how our Brahmins are extremely responsible, very respectful and well-mannered, and just how polite all of their interactions were with you Brahmins. So for that, we're incredibly proud. That is obviously the Brahmin way. So thank you for making us proud and representing our school very well. You never know when people are paying attention to those kinds of things. Okay, so dual enrollment grades are due today. Dual enrollment students, if you are on campus and you have classes after your dual enrollment class, that means you still have to report to dual enrollment for the remainder of this week. So make sure that you are reporting where you're supposed to be. Even though dual enrollment is over, you still have an assigned location, and that includes over at Indian River. Seniors Grad Bash tickets are on sale. Just a reminder, you have to have a 2.0 and a cleared fines and fees list in order to be able to purchase those tickets. Sales are happening inside of the cafeteria. All right, I think that's all I have today.
Hey, good morning, guys. So right now we have all of our upstairs in Building 6 testing. They are probably wrapping up that test, and you might be able to resume your schedule or for those of you that have upstairs classrooms after third hour, you might be able to get up there. But just remember, we're testing up there. So try to stay silent. If you see that testing sign on your teacher's door, just turn around and go down to the lecture hall. Your teachers will come and get you once they are done testing. So hopefully that won't take up too much of your day. And then also huge shout out to our Lady Brahmins soccer team. They did tie last night against John Carroll. Man, that was a good game. We took the lead a little after halftime, and then right at the very end of the game, John Carroll was able to score to tie it up. But that was a good game. Great playing. We controlled the ball most of the game. So I am very proud of you guys. If you haven't had a chance to watch our girls, you need to get out there. It was good.
Yeah, our boys basketball team is good too. They played last night against Port St. Lucie. Really strong all around. I mean, it was a fun game to watch. Very competitive game throughout. We did end up winning 50-42. So congratulations to the boys. Want to wish the wrestling team good luck tonight over in Jupiter. I believe this is maybe their first match. I don't remember, but good luck to everybody.
Freshmen, tell your teachers to crank down that AC tonight because tomorrow is ugly sweater day. So even if it's not chilly outside, we can make it a little chillier inside so we can be comfortable. So go through your closet tonight. You know, if you don't have an ugly sweater, you can probably make one. I'm sure there's plenty of Christmas decorations around. So I'm looking forward to seeing those tomorrow. Competitions and prizes during both lunches, and teachers will select a winner from teacher and faculty as well and hook you up with a little prize for your efforts. Take Stock in Children. That application is due Friday. I've had a couple of people ask you can do it online if you have procrastinated and you want to do that route. Check your email. I have sent you the link a couple of times, the information with the flyer. It has a QR code. If you can't find it, you know how to reach me. Let me know, and I will forward it to you again. Today during Pride Time, your teacher should have talked to you a little bit about semester exams and how that schedule works. Those do not start until Tuesday. So formulate questions, email me, see me at lunch, and hopefully by Monday we'll have all the confusion cleared up. Monday you will get your checkout passes through your English classes. So your ELA teacher will have those available and give them to you on Monday, because I know if you get them sooner, they may not be able to be located next week. So we want you to have those. And our PBIS event is Friday. It requires that we do what we call our activity schedule. So all of our freshmen will be here on campus on Friday. So if you normally have classes first and second period at the high school on Friday, Ms. Norman's going to remind you, but I'm going to tell you right now, come to the freshman campus. Everyone will be here. We'll run it like we normally run early release day. If you have high school classes, go to the auditorium, unless you have Miss Ingram, and she will be in the gym. So we're looking forward to that. I think the weather's going to be good. It's going to be a great time outside.
All right. You're down to 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Get to work. Make it a good one. As together we
Move forward
And be great.
And be Brahmins.
all day.
all day.
On behalf of the One Blood organization and Hosted Club, we would like to give a big thank you to those who came out yesterday and donated blood. We would also like to give a big thank you to those who came out yesterday but couldn't donate blood. We really do appreciate every single one of you guys for showing up. With that in mind, our next blood drive will be in February, so we do hope to see a lot more of you guys there. And please, please, please try to donate blood, because our scholarship money does come from these blood drives, and I hope all you guys have a wonderful day.
Hello, welcome back to this month's wellness video. My name is Katherine Williams and I'm the Director of Mental Health and Behavioral Supports. It's great to see you again. Kathleen Baum is also joining us today. She is one of our crisis counselors. Last month in November, we talked about removing the stigma on mental health, how to help yourself, a friend or family member that is struggling with a mental health disorder or a mental health challenge, and the resources that are available and how to access those resources.
Let's review the ground rules that were established on the previous video. Our first ground rule is that we should all listen with an open mind. Second, we will avoid personal stories. We will also be supportive of each other. We will not tease or make fun of each other or anyone or anything that is said in class. We will listen when someone is speaking, and only one person will speak at a time. Our last and most important rule is that whatever is said in this room stays in this room. This is a safe place to speak and ask questions. What is said in this room should not be gossiped about later in the hallways or on social media. However, it is important to know that if a student discloses potential harmful behavior to self or to others to an adult in this room, the adult is required by law to report this behavior.
Today we're going to talk about the very serious crime of human trafficking. Human trafficking is a real problem that can happen to anyone, and is happening in our state of Florida and possibly even in our own community. It involves the use of force, fraud, and/or coercion for the purposes of exploitation. Human trafficking is when someone is recruited, hidden, or transported against their will for the purpose of forced labor, involuntary servitude, slavery, or for a commercial sex act. You can think of it as modern-day slavery. We're going to watch a video produced by Lauren Boak of Lauren's Kids. This video will help to identify unsafe situations, the importance of helping someone in need, and how to access help.
It could really be the girl next door. I think a lot of times we do associate trafficking with homeless people or runaway youth, but that's not always the case. There are cases where we see someone from a perfect family that was living at the beach house and met this guy, fell in love, and became a victim. I mean, there are those stories, and it's not just this one set person.
95% of the cases I had was from girls that were born and raised in the United States. I'll say about 60 to 75 of them right here from our state of Florida.
It doesn't have to cross county lines. It doesn't have to cross international waters. It doesn't have to do any of that. If someone's using fraud, force, or coercion to make you do something that you don't want to do, that's human trafficking.
It's a simple notion, the right to pursue happiness. It's bestowed upon all of us by our Constitution. Every citizen of this country has the right to pursue it. And I believe that it is incumbent upon us as citizens of this nation, as Americans, to bestow that right upon others, upon each other, and upon the rest of the world. But the right to pursue happiness for so many is stripped away. It's raped. It's abused. It's taken by force, fraud, or coercion. It is sold for the momentary happiness of another.
Today, we're going to talk about a very real and serious problem: human trafficking. Human trafficking is when someone is recruited, hidden, or transported against their will for the purpose of forced labor, involuntary servitude, slavery, or for a commercial sex act. You can think about it like modern-day slavery. Human traffickers are smart and know how to lure their victims in and then trap them in their unsafe and unfair situation. A job or an intimate relationship may start out consensual, but over time, things spiral out of control. When you think of human trafficking, you may think it's a problem in an underdeveloped country or on the other side of the world. But the reality is, human trafficking is a global problem that occurs in every country. It happens all across the United States, here in your state, and even in your own community. Because this is such a serious problem, I want you to understand the ways human traffickers trick teenagers and trap them into involuntary servitude or slavery. I want you to know how to protect yourself and your friends. If you or someone you know is in a dangerous situation, I want you to know how to get help. It is so important to understand that human trafficking can happen to anyone. Just like when we talked about sexual abuse, we discussed how anyone can be a victim and anyone can be an abuser, but that there are circumstances that could make someone more vulnerable to abuse. It's the same with human trafficking. It can happen to anyone, but there are some conditions that can increase your risk. Traffickers may use a variety of false promises to convince teenagers that they may get a new job, making a lot of money. They may offer a safe and caring place to live, a new relationship, or a new and exciting adventure. But the reality is, these are just lies. The trafficker is actually planning to use the victim for services of their own financial gain. The trafficker considers the victim in a way to make money. To protect yourself and others, you need to know what can make someone more vulnerable to human traffickers. The numbers of trafficking in Florida are scary. Florida is number 3 in the nation for human trafficking cases, just behind California and New York. With the tourism industry, that brings in sex trafficking and also brings in domestic servitude and labor trafficking. And then with our agricultural industry and our large amount of migrant farm workers, that brings in the chance for labor trafficking as well.
Human trafficking is on the rise. The Department of Justice estimates that it's second only to the drug trade and could potentially overtake the drug trade at any point. New studies are coming out that show that more and more it is U.S. citizens here in the United States. It's what we call our community kids that are being trafficked.
We need to start changing culture. When we hear the word prostitute, culturally we hear a person making a choice, not a victim. And I'm not the one to say that there aren't people making choices. But at the end of the day, you have a person that's making a choice to prostitute, and you have a person not. How can you tell the difference? You can't, because you know why? We don't get to see the force, fraud, or coercion in the brain of the person that's not making the choice to do that.
There are suspects out there, predators out there, that are doing this every waking moment of their lives. Not just 48 hours, not just 60 hours. This is what drives them.
Human trafficking is not just specifically to one particular group. It's not one gender, it's not one race, one ethnicity. Anybody can be a victim of human trafficking. A boy can be a victim of human trafficking. And it's important for them to understand the signs and recognize what is out there in order not to fall prey to such.
Traffickers have become very good at identifying a particular vulnerability that they can exploit. They can learn about somebody's hopes and dreams and desires, and then they can lie to them and promise them all of these things.
With trauma bonding, it's a fluctuation between abuse and love. So for a child to go through trauma bonds, it becomes very confusing. And so what ends up happening is that the child is then addicted to that relationship.
They might look like someone's normal. If you're a female, you see an attractive boy that talks in a way that you like.
Someone talks to you and tells you how pretty you are. Have you ever thought about modeling? You should be a model. I can take pictures. We can do headshots. And why don't you come with me and we're going to set this up? It may not be initially. It's a process. The grooming is slow and methodical. But then they lure you in. And then once they have you, it's not very long after that they start seeing adult men for sex. And they are either brutalized or they are controlled with drugs and they are kept. Or they are transported out of the state.
And I think that was really the hardest part, is being told, your family is going to die, if you try to defend yourself, or you're just going to go to jail if you try to escape, or you're just this nasty person. That abuse hurt a lot. But that combined with the rape and the beatings and the being hungry and not taking a shower and just literally laying there.
We've seen the boyfriend grooming, which is the male that comes in and does that Romeo and Juliet kind of relationship where they buy them things, they tell them they're beautiful, they give them a brand new cell phone, they fix their hair, they fix their nails, they buy them new clothes. That is seen as a sign of love from these minors, and what we really start to learn is that the trafficker is actually creating a product that is sellable to those that are willing to buy. They use things like blackmail to keep the victim under their control. So, for example, in the case of sex trafficking, maybe the trafficker had forced the victim into the production of pornography, either video or taking pictures. That video or pictures now become blackmail to use against the victim.
If you're ever in that situation where you meet someone and all of a sudden they're trying to control who you meet, who you hang out with, red lights should be flashing on. Because if I like you, I want to know who your friends are. I'm not trying to isolate you. I want to meet your parents. I'm not trying to stay away. When people are trying to control you and put you in a place to isolate you from your friends, not let you talk to who you want to or be who you want to be, red lights all day long. If you're a friend and witnessing another friend go through that, they better tell someone.
social media is the number one way of recruiting these younger victims. Be it Facebook, be it Snapchat, Instagram, you name it, traffickers are on it. It's just the easiest way just because there's accessibility, number one, and number two, they can see you. And they also have that familiarity where they become friends with your friends and you think, oh, it's safe.
A really important thing that's going around right now that's being identified is the Snapchat maps, where traffickers are actually adding younger individuals on Snapchat and then locating where they are to kidnap them or even just monitor them and start grooming. So maybe sending out a man to go flirt with a younger woman. It can happen in malls. You could be walking through a mall and someone comes up with a modeling contract and gives you a location to meet them at.
Know who you're talking to on your phone, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on the internet. Know who you're talking to. We have case after case after case of perpetrators and predators who are posing as 14, 15-year-old girls who befriend another girl.
Something as inoffensive as a text message could cause your life to change. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to tell you that the boogeyman is outside the door. I'm telling you there's a great chance that if you answer something from someone that is unknown, there is the potential there that you might be talking to a trafficker. They've spent their entire time trying to find your product, and that product is you.
The other thing that I would really encourage young people is to have a healthy relationship with a trusted adult. We always encourage them to have 3 trusted adults in their life. And that could be a parent, it could not be a parent. But there needs to be individuals that these young people feel comfortable talking to, telling about their life, so that if things do get out of control, if they do find themselves in a bad situation, they know that they can go to this person, tell them what's going on, and they will be able to get help without being judged.
The only way we can stop this from happening is for people to tell. They have to reach out, whether it is to a friend, whether it is to a teacher, a counselor. I know law enforcement can be scary, but we have some amazing people in law enforcement who will listen and will believe you. And so taking that step and telling someone, calling the national hotline, calling 911, just reach out to someone and let them know.
If you're ever in that situation and you can't get out and you tell a friend, trust me, you want your friend to tell somebody. Nobody wants to live like that.
Bad choices don't make who we are. And even if we do make what we might consider a bad choice, it doesn't give other people the right to take advantage of us or to use us to make money for their own good. There is always help and there is always hope.
If you've made a mistake, you're young. That's when you're supposed to make mistakes. But don't let that define you for the rest of your life. If you made that mistake, reach out to a parent, reach out to a guardian, reach out to law enforcement. Break that trap.
When you're ready to come forward and say, you know what, I'm going to stop this guy. It's not me as a law enforcement officer, it's you as a person. I am going to stop this person from doing it again. The power you're going to feel is incredible.
It's not easy to come clean and to say this is what's happening to me and to let people know. But just know that there's people out there that will listen and that there's people out there that will help. And most importantly, you're not alone and we're in this fight together.
If you are a victim, there is an absolute way to get out. There's an absolute way that you can stop this process. Become the survivor. Go from victim to survivor. And what you can do is by asking someone for help. There are so many services in place to help you get out of that. There are services for shelter if needed, services to actually help you psychologically, medically, whatever needs you have.
You may feel guilty, but these are experiences that have happened to you. It's not who you are. It's what you're experiencing or have experienced. But who you are, you need help to discover that. You need adults in your life that can help you understand how valuable you are and who you can become. And that's really important. And I think that if you're in a situation where you need help, you've got to get the courage to tell someone so that you can get the help you deserve.
Human trafficking is a real problem. You or someone you know may be at risk. So it's important to know the warning signs of trafficking and tactics used by human traffickers. You now know that traffickers form relationships and use false promises to convince teenagers that they have a great job, a wonderful place to live, a new relationship, or some exciting new adventure. Many times, traffickers use drugs to manipulate and use teenagers. You need to protect yourself and others from being vulnerable to these tricks. If you or someone you know is in an unsafe situation, you must tell a trusted adult to get the help that you need. You can also get help from the National Human Trafficking Resource Center hotline at 888-3737-888 or text HELP to 233733.
Now that you have seen the video, let's review some of the facts that were presented. What were some of the risk factors that could place someone in harm's way of a human trafficker? Runaways needing money or living in poverty, not attending school or dropping out of school, low self-esteem, social isolation, or the use of drugs and alcohol. If you notice any of these risk factors with anyone you know, please tell a trusted adult.
How would you know that someone may be a victim of trafficking? Maybe that person appears fearful or anxious frequently. Maybe he or she appears to be overly nervous or tense. There could be a lack of eye contact. They may appear to be in poor health or show signs of abuse. Sometimes the person can have branding or tattoos that may indicate the identity of the trafficker. As Lauren pointed out, traffickers use many popular social media sites and popular digital devices such as cell phones and video games to contact potential victims. They groom potential victims. What is grooming? Grooming is when someone builds a relationship, trust, and emotional connection with a young person so they can manipulate and abuse them. Information that should not be shared online or through social media includes passwords, location, home and school addresses, school name, and phone numbers. Traffickers also search out popular hangout sites such as malls, restaurants, and movie theaters.
If you notice something, you can act. Ask when you observe a red flag. Care by responding without judgment and support. And tell a trusted adult.
Due to the length of our lesson today, we are not going to introduce a new relaxation activity. However, teachers, if there is time, please pause the video and review a previous activity that the students choose. We hope you learned from this lesson. Today's wellness video lesson and activity was developed by our district licensed mental health professionals with the help of the Lawrence Kids curriculum. Remember, we want you to know that it's okay to speak with someone if you feel you need some help or support. Teachers are available and you can always see your school counselor. We hope you enjoyed today's lesson and we look forward to seeing you for our next wellness video.